Hi, I'm Evelyn Linwood. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, welcome. So today's video is kind of a vlog style video. I had one scheduled for 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately I was not able to upload that, so this will kind of include those updates. The footage, when I went to edit it, literally had no sound attached. I'm being a little more careful today, double checking my mic's working. Yeah, so I think the problem, I have a mic where like literally I just have to touch. So I think what happened was I bumped it and I filmed it kind of mostly in one go. So, yeah, that's what happened. I'm 99% sure. Anyway, so where we left off with Project Gold, which is the sequel to the book that I have out, Showing Silver. Did I just do that? I don't know. Anyway, where we left off in Project Gold, I think was right after my whole book imploded, and I had to I had 3 point of view characters, and I decided, no, it's only going to be 2, and it's almost exclusively going to be 1, but with a little splash of a second character. So that's where we left off. I was kind of filling the hole from removing Alana. Now I think I have about as much as I had when I had her in the book. So I filled in the gaps, and I've written like another chapter and a half since then. So I'm almost to the end of chapter 8, which honestly doesn't mean that much. Let me click it open, and I will tell you how far into the project itself I am. Clicking the manuscript, I am 27,882 words into the project. So, sorry for the sounds the clicking makes. My target is around 80 something, 81,000 or something. Yeah, so sorry, my desk just will not stop creaking. What was I saying? Yeah, so I have less than 60,000 words left to go. I think I'm probably like more than a quarter anyway. Yeah. So I've been working on that. I'm making good progress. The last kind of 4 writing days flowed a lot better than the previous week, which I was really struggling the first week of this month. I may have shared it on here. I can't remember. Yeah, but I was getting April 1st, I had less than 300 words. Same thing for April 2nd. That Friday, I didn't write at all. And then Saturday, I had like 600 words. But now I've got 4 days under my belt that were all over 1,000. Yeah, so I was looking at my pacemaker plan, which I don't have these word counts memorized. That's how I know them right now, is I'm literally looking at my pacemaker plan. Yeah, sorry for the ums. I was looking at it this morning and I kind of lost my mind because the slow start had bumped up my required word counts to like 4,000 words a day for me to finish by the end of April, including like my days off. I don't write on Sunday, and I have a couple doctor's appointments and like stuff scheduled where I can't write that day or can only do like a half day. And Saturdays I've marked as half days anyways. Yeah, so I was looking at that. 4,000 words. That is insane, and not, for some people, it wouldn't be insane. I know lots of people can do it. I've heard that like Stephen King or someone, I think it was Stephen King, does like 10,000 words a day. No, it's 10 pages. Regardless, forget that. I tend to be more of a slow writer. I write less than 1,000 words an hour, for definitely less than 1,000 words. Sometimes significantly less. Yeah, so for me, 4,000 words per day is a tall order, even for me just to be in my seat with my hands on the keyboard. I'm making my wrists exhausted. That would be a lot for me. And then, like, you add in the mental aspects of creating a story, and it's a whole brain activity that I can't do for, more than 4 hours a day, every day. I can do it for a day or two for, like, a challenge, but I can't do that sustained over time. It absolutely would burn me out, if nothing else. And I'm not sure I could literally, like, squeeze that many words out. At a certain point, it's blood from a stone. So I did push back my personal due date to May 15th, and that's looking a lot friendlier. It's 2,300 words most days and roughly 1,200 on my half days. So I think I can do that. Um, so my target is May 15th at this point for my rough draft. I'm still hoping to have 2 drafts done by the end of the quarter. So that would be like I'd have time to leave it sit for about a week and then have 4 weeks to do it. Oh, have it sit for a week or two and have 4 weeks to do it. I think that's feasible. So I'm not too freaked out by that. And I will absolutely come back and update before the end of this video. So like the next clip will be more information about how far I'm getting and whatnot. But yeah, this is kind of my update for a summary of last video. I'm not sure if I had mentioned also Project King, which is the first in another series that I plan to publish after I finish my Arkan duology. That's the other project I've been working on. For the duration of April, I have put that onto the back burner. Essentially, it's in a drawer, it's on the shelf, it's in my files. I'm not really touching it. Maybe if I have a couple days where I'm like working ahead or something, I might dive into it. But I want to focus on Project Gold because that's the book that needs to be published first. So of course I should focus on it first. So that's where I am. It's been a bit odd. And I think that's all my updates. Sorry if I seem weird. There was like a big crash down the road. Crashing sound, and I still don't know what it was. So I'm wondering if there's like a really bad car accident, but we'll see. Anyway, ta-ta for now, and see you in the next clip. So like 2 seconds from now, by your standards. Let's try this again. Ironically, I just recorded this whole thing and my audio was wackadoodle. Okay, so it's been about a week, and in that time I got all of 1,000 words, maybe. The one good thing is I do feel like I'm finally really truly moving. I can feel the momentum building towards the midpoint. I think I'm like 12,000 words from it. And if you're not a writer, or if you're a newer writer, you might be a little confused by the word count thing. Um, so readers tend to think in pages, but a lot of writers prefer word count just because it's kind of like a standard thing in TradPub. They talk about word counts. And B, the the page the actual page count is extremely dependent on your formatting because different books will have like different trim sizes. So the book might be like a different height and width. Um, and then there's different font sizes, different margins, those kinds of things really affect the page count, as well as, interestingly, if you have more dialogue, it'll have more pages for less words, versus if you have, um, more description. And plus, some people have shorter paragraphs versus longer paragraphs. It's like a whole thing. It's really dependent on formatting and author style. So I think in word counts, that's the main thing. Yeah. So I think about 12,000 words before I hit the midpoint. That's my guess, best guesstimate. Um, so I'm really kind of excited about that. I'm hoping to do that soon. I did go back in my pacemaker. The goal is no longer May 15th. Um, I set it up like it has a feature where you can set it up so that the final date shifts. And I did that based on a 2400 word day. And I set those as my full days, 1200 as my half days, and then Sundays off. And currently, I think it says the 22nd. I can actually check that real quick. Yeah, but it says May 22nd, and then as I either work ahead or fall behind, it will kind of update as I go. Yeah, May 22nd. So hopefully I can work ahead of that. I'm still hopeful of finishing in time to have like a rest week for Project Gold, and then I can do my first round of edits in June. Finish those up and send it off to beta readers. That's my goal. I did finalize the cover with my cover artist. Excuse me, losing my voice. Not actually, I just excuse me. Yeah, so I finalized the cover with the cover artist, sent off the second half of the payment. Um, the only thing is we'll have to update the spine, but the cover itself is so beautiful. I can't wait. Anyway, the only other change I've made is that I am planning to pull Project Gold off of or not Project Gold, Project King off the back burner. That's the one that I'm kind of working on editing. Um, and it won't be published until after Project Gold. But I think I'm gonna lose time altogether if I leave it on the back burner much longer because I don't want to have to like reorient myself in the project. I don't want to have to spend time rereading old words and kind of figuring out where I left off. So my plan is to work on that this weekend. For the next few days, I'm gonna have a lot of extra time to write for about the next 5 days. So that's my plan. I'm going to at least work on it enough that I know where I am and I can remember, even if it's just like 10 minutes or something. And then still focus on finishing Project Gold, just not losing my place in Project King, if that makes sense. Um, yeah. And before I lose my voice completely, I guess I'll wrap this up. If you had an April writing goal, I would love to hear what your goal was and how it's going in the comments. And like, if you didn't quite make it, are you planning to push your goal to finish up in May, or are you gonna just set a new goal, or just kind of take a rest from goals? Let me know. Uh, and that applies to reading goals too. If you're not a writer and you're just kind of having fun reading, tell me about it. Especially tell me what book you're reading right now because I'm actually taking off on like a reading, not a binge, but I'm reading again a lot more. Right now I'm reading a book called The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, and I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, see you next time.